Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.
The third race of the weekend for the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, lining up now for the pre-grid to get underway for another 25-minute encounter, and it is the CMR Lamborghini Super Trofeo of Alexis Berthet, who won race 1 yesterday, who will be starting on pole position once again. The grid for this race set by the second fastest times in Q1. And so that does mean we have two Lamborghini Super Trofeos lining up the front row of the grid, CMR Super Trofeo and the Vanderhurst Motorsport car number 98 of Gerard Vanderhurst himself. Also with the mix of GT3 and GT2 cars behind them as well. Olivier Morahan's Corvette and also Patrick Charlet's Maserati MC20 GT2 car from TFT Racing that won overall yesterday in race 2 at the hands of his teammate Jordan Boisson. So Claire Cottingham is down on the grid. Let's head down to her and see if she can find any drivers for us.
Tu veux que je te montre les plans d'info ou des trucs comme ça? Ouais, vas-y. Bon, bon, après, pas grand chose en général, moi je fais voilà, plan large de la piste, hein, ouais. Classique.
Okay, we'll hear from Claire in a little bit, hopefully. Just waiting for a few more cars to make their way down to the grid. So other cars to look out for in this one. The UCS3 battle yesterday was particularly interesting between David Coolman and Sandro Perissuti. David Coolman 2 for 2 so far in the UCS3 category for the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team aboard the Aston Martin Vantage Evo GT4 car. And Sandro Perissuti for the Switch Racing Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport very nearly ended up taking Switch Racing's first ever circuit racing victory. But that car now at the hands of Jeremy Merrier. Which is a slight change from the entry list. It was Michael Martin who was initially listed for that car. But it is Jeremy Merrier who lines up third in UCS3 behind Philippe Dallamy aboard the 444 speed car Audi. That is the number 28 TFT Racing Maserati MC20 GT2 car that won overall yesterday with Jordan Boisson at the wheel. Patrick Charlet lines up fourth on the grid. Now let's head to Claire Cottingham down on the grid.
Si je cherche des plans T random, fais gaffe à l'antenne. Est-ce que des fois tu rajoutes du picking Attends, je sais pas si c'est ça, mais c'est avec le vent déjà. Est-ce que des fois vous rajoutez du picking depuis la caméra dans le viewfinder? Juste là, à droite, là? Non.
Well, hello and welcome to Ultimate Cup. We're here for the GT Sprint race. And as you can see, the cars are lining up behind me here at Paul Ricard, ready to go racing. And I'm excited. I'm going to speak, though, to the Dutchman, who is currently in second place. I'm not going to ask him. I'm going to go straight in. We've got Gerard van der Horst here, who's speaking just to his team at the moment. But I'm going to throw myself in and sorry, I know you're all getting prepared. Hello, Gerard. How are you feeling? Second place?
Okay. Well prepared, so let's go.
Let's go. Is this a track that you enjoy well?
Yes.
Okay, all right. How are we feeling, though? Are we feeling a bit nervous? Go on.
It's a little difficult, but I like it very much.
Okay. Are we feeling a bit nervous?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. Usually drivers don't admit that. From second place on the grid, how positive are you that you could get a win here?
Very positive.
I like this.
So I'm going for a win today.
I like it. You're a man of few words, Gerard. I'm going to remember this. We're going to have a chat later. I'll get a few drinks down you and we'll have fun.
See you on the podium.
See you on the podium, exactly. Gerard, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Now you can chat to him. Sorry, I always get drivers when they're just trying to actually speak to their engineers. We are going racing. The 1 minute board is about to be shown, so I'm going to head over to the commentary team. We've got French commentary as well as English commentary, so do make sure you stay with us because racing about to get underway in the GT Sprint.
It is indeed. Gerard van der Horst, a lot of honesty and a few words there on the grid. But going from second position, of course, does put him in a very good spot. And the similar Lamborghini Super Trofeo that is alongside him, that CMR car that's starting on pole position will also be racing in GT Endurance tomorrow with their Belgian drivers, hence the Belgian colours on that car. Alexis Berthet, not Belgian himself. Take a look down the grid. The sole Porsche entered in this race as well is the 888 Ligier car. We saw quite a few Porsche Cup entries last year, but they all seem to have migrated over to GT Endurance, where we have quite a healthy field, 11 cars that are going to take the start for GT Endurance tomorrow morning. But just the one in GT Sprint for this weekend. It's Stéphane Perrin.
En général, voilà, au début ils arrivent, ils se préparent et tout. Tour de formation.
Actually, sorry, it's Billy Rickton. Sharing the car with Stéphane Perrin this weekend. Billy had a decent result in race number 1. So grid being cleared, 15-second board shown. We'll have the start of the formation lap. So the green flag is waved at the back. The pace car will be the one to initially set off for a slight hold for the pole sitter, Alexis Berthet. We have seen drivers fall afoul of that rule in the starting procedure before. There is meant to be a bit of a delay, about 30 seconds or so before, or 15 seconds before the pole sitter does pull away, and of course he does. So let's give you the grid for race 3 of Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. It's Alexis Berthet in the CMR prepared Lamborghini Super Trofeo alongside the similar Super Trofeo from Van der Horst Motorsport. Behind him, Gerard van der Horst, who we heard from on the grid. Then it is the Canon Racing Team Chevy Corvette of Olivier Morahan, and then Patrick Charlet in the TFT Maserati, who seems to have passed Olivier on the formation lap. I'm sure he's going to have to yield that one because he is listed as the other way round. Then comes Billy Rickton in the Ligier Porsche Cup car. Eric Mouet in another of the CMR prepared Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars. Multiple V2V GT champion in endurance. Lines up 6 on the grid. And then the UCS3 battle with David Coleman starting on pole position in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin Vantage. He's 2 for 2 so far this weekend. Philippe Dallamy in the speed car prepared Audi R8. And then the number 8 of Jeremy Merrier from Switch Racing, the Porsche GT4 Club Sport, and then Pierre Aru in the number 64 Herrera Racing Audi R8, reigning champion of the GT4 cars. There's been a slight reshuffling of the classes. Last year that was UCS4, he's the reigning champion there, and Andres Firitos in the UCS4 car. Now that is a Porsche GT4 car, but because it's a 981, so sort of 2 generations ago now, that car is qualified for the sort of lighter category. And then we have the number 69 Ferrari 430 Challenge from Francorchamps Motors Racing Classic of Mardine Benjamin in the Ultimate Cavallino Tridente Cup, and then Emilio Rocci in the 353 Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo from SR&R. Gregoire Benedet will start the number 96 Ferrari 430 GT3 car, again from Francorchamps Motors Racing Classic. And last car on the grid will be the 88 Midget Super T of Thomas Petit from the Drive-In Motorsport Events team. Completing a 15-car grid for this 25-minute encounter. Beautiful mix of cars, and yesterday we saw a great battle between the Super Trofeo, between the Chevy V8, between the Porsche and the Ferrari 488 as well. So multiple different classes, but all able to fight for the same sort of track position as well, which is really, really great to see. Looks like we're missing Thomas Petit from the back of the grid, sadly, so it looks like it'll be 14 cars that take the start. There were dramas for that car at the end of race 2 yesterday, but for now we turn our attention to the lights and the start of race number 3 for Ultimate GT Sprint Cup here in Paul Ricard. 2 Lamborghini Super Trofeo starting at the front of the field. The lights go out and Alexis Bertet puts his foot to the floor, and it does look like he has got the whole shot into the first corner, and Gerard van der Herst is going to have Olivier Morahan on the inside going into the first corner. And the Chevy Corvette does go through into second position, so it's Bertet who leads, Morahan, Gerard van der Herst. It was nearly side by side there between the Maserati GT2 car and the Porsche Cup car of Billy Richten. But Patrick Charlet able to hold on to 4th position overall, as the Aston Martin GT4 getting on the inside of the Super Trofeo. David Coleman on Eric Mouet there for 6th position overall. And maybe Mouet has some sort of problem there, because the GT4 car going down on the inside in the middle of the hotel chicane. Now the Super Trofeo's got quite a bit more power, so I'd imagine it would blast straight back past on the straight, and he is trying to retake that position down the Mistral. Bertet stretching his legs out at the front of the field, so Gerard van der Herst plans to fight for win. Have gone slightly awry. Eric Mouet has gone back through. Meanwhile, that looked like Jeremy Merrier, who had got past Philippe Thalamy for 2nd position in UCS3. So the battle of the GT4 cars. And yes, we can see that on the screen there as well. And Thalamy's trying to come back around the outside of Scene Corner. With remember, Switch Racing, the Drift team, making their circuit racing debut here this weekend in Ultimate Cup competition, both in GT Sprint and in the European Endurance Prototype Cup with the Nova MP02 as well. That's going to be the big one for them this weekend, as we have Gerard van der Herst coming under pressure from Patrick Charlet. Remember, he finished 2nd overall in race 1 yesterday. And van der Herst picking up UCS2 class podiums. So end of lap 1, and Alexis Bertet leads 2.8 seconds over Olivier Morahan, who in turn is 1.1 clear of Gerard van der Herst, who did manage to pull a little bit of a gap over Patrick Charlet in those closing few corners. Then comes the Porsche Cup car of Billy Richten. Eric Mouet settling into 6th position. David Coleman continues to lead. Philippe Thalamy did manage to get back 2nd position in UCS3 from Jeremy Merrier. So the speed car Audi getting back ahead of the Switch Racing Porsche. Leaders making their way back down the Mistral towards the what is officially referred to as the Montreal chicane, although many, I think, just call it the chicane halfway down the Mistral. Popular top speed tester is that Mistral chicane when the Mistral straight when the chicane is taken out. Of course, a lot of GT and indeed prototype machines that we'll have here at the Ultimate Cup will be used to taking the Mistral full chat in both ACO and SRO competition. So Alexis Bertek continuing to lead. And we saw him at this circuit last year, at the end of last year, and also in Portimao in this team and car combination. Before that was running with Patrick Michelier, another familiar name to any GT Sprint viewers from last year. Was running in a 488 Challenge Evo in the GT2 European Series. While the 488 Challenge, not specifically a homologated GT2 car, does often make some appearances in that category, whereas the Maserati in 4th position, that is a homologated GT2 car with its 3-litre V6 power plant in that car. The move that Olivier Morahan made at the start of the race on Gerard van der Herst is proving to be quite an important one, because van der Herst is still sat behind that car. Olivier Morahan, the CEO of the Kenol Performance Oil brand, that is a very close partner of the Ultimate Cup Series and now the title sponsor of the GT Endurance Cup as well, and the race team expanding as well, not just running this Corvette but also running a car in the Hoosier Formula Cup, which has its first race of the season later on today. Olivier himself starting to gain more experience in racing around France in 2023 before joining the Ultimate Cup, which included a class win in Portimao. Switched over to the Mercedes GT3 car for the finale, but back in his familiar Corvette. With the Kenol branding as well, that is also a supplier to the Ultimate Cup Moto series as well, so it's cars and bikes that Olivier's brand is affiliated with. Whereas Gerard behind him in his eponymous team came from racing BMWs in Belgium about 10 years ago now, but twice a class champion of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe in 2018 and 2022. It's officially called the LC Cup, but it's effectively the sort of gentleman category, having also competed in the Blancpain GT Sports Club, which in some ways sort of considered the predecessor to the GT2 European Series. It was still GT3 based cars, but very much was much more amateur focused, like the GT2 platform is, and there was quite a bit of crossover, I believe, between some of the drivers and the teams involved in that one. Oh dear, this is not turning into a good weekend for Francorchamps Motors Racing Classic, because that 430 Challenge has had to come into pit lane pretty much every single race, I think, so far this weekend. So Mardine Benjamin having to retire the car again by the looks of it. Checking in with that UCS3 battle, David Kuhlmann rather dominating this one, 9.6 seconds clear of Philippe Dallamy. And then this is the battle for the 57 of Andrei Seferitos ahead of Pierre Aru in the 4th place UCS3 car from Herrero Racing. And that Wile E. Coyote livery is one that he has run every single year, no matter what he was racing. It goes all the way back to his first ever Legends Cars Cup race back in 2008. Reigning UCS4 champion, as we mentioned. And great to have Andrei Seferitos back with us as well in the 981 Cayman. Had 3 wins in, qualified for the UCS Light category last year, which is effectively what UCS4 is now, but had wins in Portimao, 3 of them. Came back for the Le Castellet finale as well, so 2 appearances in GT Sprint last year. Having debuted, in fact, here at the end of the 2023 season, having competed in Porsche Sprint Challenge throughout the year. And in fact, that's where he sort of learned his craft at Porsche Sprint Challenge France at Le Mans in 2022, where he first got behind the wheel of the GT4 machinery. Of course, sticking with that 981 car throughout his tenure. That 981 version of the Porsche was I don't want to say Porsche's first attempt at a GT4 car, but it was didn't necessarily quite hit the mark. I think it was it's such a throwaway from the GT4 machinery that you see now across Europe and in America as well, which are now very thoroughbred race cars, whereas I don't think the same attitude's quite applied from when the 981 was a contemporary machine. You only have to look at the interior of it. It still looks very much like the road car. It doesn't have a sort of race spec steering wheel either. And it was a while before they introduced the Cup engine into that car. So the sort of punchier machine, as we see the 430 get back out on track. But much more punchier engine when the 718 was introduced, and then of course the Club Sport version took that rather to a whole new level as well, with much more front downforce as well, which is the car that Jeremy Merrier is driving from Switch Racing. So the 430 back on track, but obviously a few laps down. I'm also noticing we didn't seem to have Gregoire Benedet take the start, nor Emilio Rocci either. So the SR&R Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo that Lyle Schofield was driving yesterday doesn't seem to have made the start either. And so Rocci, the Italian GT racer, not here. So I think we only had 12 at the start of this one, sadly. And effectively down to 11 with Mardine Benjamin having to come through pit lane, and is now right in front of that battle for second place between Olivier Morhan and Gerard van der Hurst, which is now nose to tail going through Scene Corner as they try and round up the traffic. And van der Hurst has a little dive to the inside, but no way through there. It's interesting talking about the performance characteristics, because there have been some weekends where Super Trofeo machinery has been quicker than GT3 cars. Even in the European and World Championship level as well. Of course, depends who you get behind the wheel. And this Super Trofeo car expected to be in operation for an extra year in 2026, despite Lamborghini introducing the new Temerario GT3 car next year and switching from the 5.2 litre V10 over to a twin turbo V8 for their new car, but they won't be bringing a Super Trofeo version of that car out until 2027, I believe. So we do get to enjoy the V10 soundtrack for just a little bit longer. Seems to be more of a growing trend of manufacturers switching over to V8 machinery. It's by far the most popular platform, but despite that, we still get quite different sounding V8 engines from the various manufacturers as well. I think it's only Ferrari, BMW, and Porsche who don't use some sort of V8 in their GT3 car these days. BMW with their straight six, Porsche, of course, with their iconic flat six, and Ferrari with a twin turbo V6, pretty much based on what is run in their 499p hypercar aboard the 296. So this battle for second now 9.9 seconds behind race leader Alexis Berta, who looks like he's going to make it 2 for 2. Well, 2 for 3, I should say, actually, because he did do race 2. He's running solo in that car. The way the platform works is sort of a hybrid of how sprint and endurance racing normally goes, but we have 4 races, and if you wish to share your car, there are no pit stops in these 25-minute races. If you share a car, you do 2 races each and 1 qualifying session. So driver 1 gets in for Q1, sets his grid for races 1 and 3. Driver 2 gets in, sets his grid for races 2 and 4. And what we actually ended up with was a rather unusual situation of 2 drivers sharing the SR&R Ferrari 488 Challenge, Lyle Schofield and Lorenzo Monteiro, the nephew of Diego Monteiro, who'll be racing in the Duqueine GT Endurance Cup tomorrow. They were actually both fighting for the title, but competing against each other in the same car, because you don't get the same points tally. You score the points that you get in your individual races. So they were both fighting each other for the championship, despite being in the same car. You see the TFT car in the background as well. It's a wonderful sounding V6 in that one. A very throaty machine. And certainly quite a striking one as well. When you see the one that comes out of the factory in its blue livery is really quite remarkable as well. The sort of traditional, I forget what Maserati officially calls that blue. It's some sort of Royal Navy blue. That looks absolutely astounding. Enjoying the soundtrack of the 5.2 litre V10. They're becoming a dying breed in the world of GT competition, sadly. Aston Martin have been making headlines, of course, with their V12 Valkyrie in the World Endurance Championship, but everyone's sort of running around saying it makes no sense to have this engine. It's kind of mad that it exists, really, given that the world in general is all moving towards smaller engines, smaller capacity, fewer cylinders, more turbos. Indeed, the Tom's prepared engine in Euroformula, a 1.3 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, but somehow manages to pump out more engine than its bigger, naturally aspirated predecessor. But that is the way things are going. So Gerard van der Herst still trying to find a way past Olivier Morahan, who's defensive into the chicane. And last time around, Patrick Charlet did do a personal best and managed to take more than a second out of the two cars in front of him while they've been squabbling. So it's 3.2 seconds between the Maserati and the Super Trofeo. And, I'm sure Gerard is starting to get a bit fed up of looking at the back of that Chevy C7. As good as it looks. Of course, nice to be seeing these cars out during the day because we had the night race last night as well. So everyone was very reliant on the headlights because despite having some floodlights around the circuit Paul Ricard, it's not exactly well lit. So still very much reliant on the headlights around here, and in fact one thing I've been talking to some of the Nova teams about is the fact that some of the teams don't necessarily know which way the headlights need to be pointing, and so we'll have to keep an eye out on that, just to make sure that they're sort of lined up properly and lighting the road as efficiently as possible. See, it is starting to get much closer between that battle for second place and the chasing Patrick Charlet starting to join the party. So what we have here is a Super Trofeo car, a GT3 car and a GT2 car. You can see the lead that Alexis Bertet has been able to establish during this race. Just over 4 minutes left on the clock. And still Andres Firitos there leads Pierre Aru. There hasn't been so much conversation about how Audi's departure from GT racing will affect its GT4 program, though it is pretty much estimated to have a very similar effect to its GT3, with the R8 becoming a sort of less viable platform as the years go on. This is that Switch Racing car circuit debut for the stunt and drift team that is expanding into circuit competition, largely known as Switch Riders when this was established in 2008, but the name change reflecting that new ambition to go circuit racing. I remember they'll be in the Endurance Prototype Cup as well, with some great drivers, including Bruce Joanny, Top Gear France presenter, who will be driving that car. And of course, anybody who's watched the World Endurance Championship race over the last couple of years will recognise him from the pit lane. Oh, now what's happened to Olivier Morahan on that last lap? Because suddenly he's dropped behind both Gerard van der Herst and Patrick Charlet as well. So some sort of drama last time around. It was a 2 minutes 11 for Ligier last time around, compared to 2:09 for Van der Hurst and 2:08 for Charlet. So whatever happened on that previous lap has cost him 2 spots there, from second down to 4th. So it's now Gerard van der Hurst in second position, with Patrick Charlet promoted to the overall podium. So UCS2 cars locking out the overall podium as it stands, as Alexis Bertet comes to start his final lap of the race. With 12.5 seconds over Gerard van der Hurst, who's just put in his personal best, 2:08.1. Still a little bit of traffic for Alexis Bertet to try and usurp. Looks like Andrei Safiritos in front of him. Oh no, it's Sandro, not Sandro Perisuti, sorry, Jeremy Merrier, the Switch Racing car. Last few corners for Alexis Bertet, and it's been 2 pole positions for Alexis so far this weekend, and it's going to be 2 victories from 2 pole positions as well. Missed out in race 2, but just as he did in race 1, victory from pole position. So Alexis Bertet out of the final corner. And it will be victory in race number 3 of Ultimate GT Sprint Cup at Circuit Paul Ricard for Alexis Bertet aboard the CMR prepared Lamborghini Super Trofeo Evo 2. Second place will go to Gerard van der Hurst. Aboard the Van der Hurst Lamborghini. And locking out the podium of UCS2 cars is Patrick Charlet for TFT Racing aboard the Maserati MC20. Andrei Safiritos, Pierre Arroux and Jeremy Merrier have already come across the timing line. So Jeremy Merrier at 3rd in UCS3 aboard the Switch Racing Porsche. Olivier Morahan 4th across the line aboard the Corvette. Billy Ritken 5th across the line. Next will come Eric Mouet. And then it should be 3 victories from 3 for David Kuhlmann aboard the number 74 Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin GT4 Vantage Evo, with Philippe Dallamy settling for 2nd aboard the speed car Audi. There is Eric Mouet just across the line there. So wow, I had to wait a very long time for that one. 64 seconds behind the race leader. David Kuhlmann has gone across the line there, so it is 3 victories out of 3 in UCS3 for David Kuhlmann. Philippe Dallamy will be the last car over the line for speed car. But once again, it's victory for Alexis Bertet. 12.3 seconds to the good in the end over Gerard van der Hurst, who in turn was 3 seconds ahead of Patrick Charlet. But I'm sure Olivier Morahan will be kicking himself, whatever issue or problem or mistake maybe that led to him dropping a couple of places. wave to the crowd there from Alexis Berthet. So he brings that CMR Lamborghini into pit lane. We'll find Parc Fermé and pull up to the number 1 board. We joined in Parc Fermé there by Charles van der Hurst and Patrick Charlet. This is how much quicker he got back to the pits. He's already out of the car and debriefing with the team before they've even pulled up in front of the winners boards. So a very strong weekend so far for Alexis Berthet. Of course, one more race still to come for Ultimate GT Sprint Cup later today. That will be getting underway at 1:40 p.m. today for the final race. But let's go down to Alex.
Deuxième victoire en 2 jours après une jolie course. Elle fait encore plaisir celle-là.
Bah oui, écoute, on continue sur l'avancée d'hier. C'était pas évident, on savait pas trop ce que la Maserati ferait, mais finalement on a réussi à garder le dessus, donc bien content.
C'est une super voiture à conduire aussi, cette Lamborghini.
Ouais, c'est une voiture qui a plein de possibilités que je découvre encore à chaque fois, donc ouais, on progresse à chaque fois.
Merci.
we gonna